is Romanticism, Team 3. Alright, Romanticism is a literary architectural movement originating in the 18th century. There was a reaction against neoclassicism, exalts the primitive and the common man, appreciates nature, and it involves neoclassical Greek revival, Gothic, Baroque, Romanesque. Began with the excavation and rediscovery of ancient Greek and Roman ruins. Celebrated the sense of purity and opposed the excesses of Baroque and Rococo. It coincided with the Industrial Revolution and used neo-Gothic medieval motifs.
Sir William Chambers followed the lead of James Gibb and took up residence in Italy to study the ancient architecture. It is here where he would meet the engraver Piranesi, whose work was reflected in the huge rusticated arches of the Somerset House on the famed side of the elevation. This is the floor plan.
Romanticism also affected landscape architects as well. Effort was taken to help one forget about the dreary urban factory life and focus on the magnificence of the individual. Up until now, gardens were symmetrical and well balanced. They were also manicured very well, which is what made Romanticism gardens, unusual, and because pathways were slightly overgrown. As you can see, it was a narrow pathway which is slightly overgrown, which is meant to help bring one closer to the beauty of the natural world and help them forget about dreary life. Though some pathways are brick, as you saw in the previous picture, most paths were gravel or dirt. They were manufactured to keep distractions out, tall trees and bushes, and the paths also kept costs down. The gardens were designed to either look like flowing water or give the sightseer a feeling of getting lost.
Picturesque massing is defined as something that is visually charming, quaint, or as if something is purposely resembling that of a painting. Picturesque massing is architecture that involved much of the different forms of architecture in the late 18th century and brought in a lot of the nature and the landscaping to create something that would come out of a painting. Here is a picture of Hagley Park in the UK. They used a lot of the follies. This one was a folly made to look like a ruined castle, which used the landscape and the nature around it to create the picturesque feel. Here's Strawberry Hill. It used the Gothic architecture to bring in also the nature again. And then here's the floor pan. The floor pan is actually undimensional and is kind of random, which was a lot of what the picturesque massing did.
Through the archaeological excavation of artifacts, the attitudes towards ancient Roman wall paintings changed pervasively. The excavation of these classical sites provided knowledge of ancient art along with an overwhelming flow of inspiration. The discoveries of these artifacts and wall paintings made during this time period not only had a major influence on the paintings and art of this era, but it also majorly influenced architectural design. During the 18th century, Palladianism was the dominant architectural style in westernized civilization. The influence of ancient wall paintings found in places such as Pompeii began to appear as architects began to use this as a way to soften the classical artistry associated with Palladianism. Right. This is the floor pan, and this is the inside of the Kettleston, which you can see has a lot of wall painting influence.
As students began leaving these new architecture schools in France, new ideas were coming about. Visionary architecture was one of them. Visionary architecture is the name given which exists to works only on paper. One of the most famous examples of conceptual architecture is Bouyer's monument to Newton. This is a front elevation Bouillet came up with the idea of an immense sphere that would serve as a center path honoring works of Sir Isaac Newton. To bring geometric forms to life, Bouillet depended on striking and original effects of light and shadow. Those can be seen here. There's a top view of the center path.